Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I am painting a great horned owl in acrylics. I begin with a couple coats of gesso to smooth the rock out a bit, and I'm starting by painting a black background, and I used a white chalk pencil to create the image on the black background. In this one I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm starting by painting the whole thing in black and white. And once that's finished, I begin to mix my brown tones and put light washes over the feathers. And there's so many brown tones in the owl that I just mix them as I go for the different areas. Once I get all the brown tones added to the owl, then I'll begin to add the details in the feathers. I even put a base coat over the areas that will eventually end up white. And then I start mixing up some lighter paints to start bringing some of the feather areas back out again. I'm adding more feathers around the eyes. I just make sure that I put them in the same direction that they would naturally grow. And now I'm adding more color into the eyes. I do it in light washes. Let that dry and then I'll add some more. Now I'm mixing up some light blue for the pupils of the eyes to give it a nice shine. I also add this color into the highlights on the beak. Now I'm beginning to add some more feathers with the white. I'm just giving all the feathers more details. I'm leaving a lot of dark areas since he is in the cavity of the tree. Here I'm just adding some dark washes around the outside of the owl so that he blends more into the cavity of the tree. By adding that tan layer earlier over this area, it just helps these white feathers to look more three-dimensional. I'm adding some straight black in around the owl so that he blends in better with the background. I'm adding the most intense color at the top of the eye. Later on I'll shade it with some brown. Be sure to let the paint dry thoroughly between each layer. I begin my tree with some black outlines that I just freehand in. I always begin with the base coat on the tree, and when that's thoroughly dry, I'll start to build up the layers. Just adding some dark areas around the bird. I wanted it to look a little bit more like it was cut out in this area. I just keep adding layers until I get to what I think looks okay. I'm never sure where I'm going to go when I'm doing the tree. The nice thing is if you get it too dark, you can always lighten it back up, which is what I'm going to be doing with that area that I just darkened up. I wasn't happy with that dark area, so I did lighten it all back up. And then I darkened it again with some browns. Just less this time. Once it's all dry, I'll give it a couple coats of acrylic varnish, and then we'll be all set. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and stick around by subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.